Ang bendisyon kapag naramdaman tayo'y magkakaroon ng higit na pag-asa. Laman at simba ay nanghihising na at magsasabi na tayo'y nasimba. Magising at magdang tayo'y magsilatan at masilang tumuhin ang ating simbahan. Ang kamuhan ay tuluyang nagigising upang umayo. Lahat ay nagalamin ang bendisyon. Kapag-tanda tayo'y magkakaroon higit na pag-asa. Tayo'y magkakaroon higit na pag-asa.
Let's welcome our host Sir Alberto Abira aka Tata Bert.
Everybody. Mabuhay kayo Pilipinas. Bonjour, Montrealers, at kayong lahat kababayan, mabuting kaarawan ngayon. Sa Pilipinas ngayon ay back to normal. The normal situation now is typhoon and flooding again. So this is not an accident anymore. It's not a catastrophe. It's normal. So while we are here celebrating all at the same time and merrymakings with saying hello and exchanging pleasantries during these days of the holy hour of the season. So let's enjoy and exchange pleasantries, greeting and saying hello and goodbye. That's life, what we are enjoying now. So for the moment, let us not to forget that our existence is temporary and we have all the reason to be thankful with saying hello, not only of abundance and everything, but life itself, because the very fact that we are awake and healthy, that is the best gift from God that we could enjoy while our temporary life is enjoying this earth that is given to us to make the ends that our objectives that are the reason of our existence here, that to have to fulfill our obligations, be kind, respect God and neighbors and yourself. So that is the very thing. So while we are waiting for some events in the community, we will be enjoying the very existence. We Filipinos is not new to this. We could be inside the house or anywhere. We still enjoy it because we are don't worry so much. No matter what, there may be catastrophe or hunger, we still have always the heart to smile in exchanging our goodies and expression in pleasantries. So while we have that capacity, let's share to our neighbors that we don't just suffer. We also love to enjoy ourselves. The very thing, greetings for our neighbors because we are lovable people. So let's maintain that in every day of our life. That's how we are being distinguished as the unique ethnic here in the multiculturalism of Canada. So we enjoy the pleasantries, the prosperity, the good life as we could enjoy because we are very adaptable people. No matter what the situation is, we endure because we are built for that. You see, not everybody is easily gets sick because we were trained for that. We have experience since childhood up to our uh, manhood ready for work, we are always ready. So maybe some enjoy of insult or what they call discrimination. For us, that's nothing. Discrimination. So be it, because that is a God given them the right for the choice, because democracy guarantees and everyone that they have a choice. So the choice not to like you cannot force them. So, but so long as you don't hate anybody, even you can hate anybody and yourself only. Don't do it because that is your privilege. So, but hey, but it outbursts. That's another thing. The law will be running after you. So, as I've said, let's enjoy, especially this few days, the 7 days remaining for the year 2020. This is the most memorable year I have experienced, that I have been locked up for 3 months. I haven't enjoyed the beaches because every time I go out to the Philippines, I'm always staying in the beaches, fishing, swimming, and enjoying life, because that is my life. Very common, not living extraordinary, not even living in a hotel. I sleep on the beach, which is more comfortable, because living in the hotel is just an artificial, because you that is not your habitat. That's not my habitat. My habitat is on the beach, sleeping on the papag, in the bamboo mattresses. That's what we are brought up. Though maybe here we have to adapt what the North American style, but living out and the back to normal that we have when you were still young, when you are still kid. Actually, when here I got a backache, suffering for a few months. But the moment I arrived in the Philippines, I sleep in the papa, everything for myself is back to normal. So that's our environment. That's our habitat. That here in North America, all these things are artificial for us, because that's not the real we you are, or that's what I am. Maybe different in your case. Maybe you're born in a golden spoon. That's good. I cannot compare myself to you. So it's in every one of us is on the distinct and instinct. So we have to, despite of these things, the differences, we could still live together. So so much for the sweet nothing introduction, because I was really expecting the Nights of Results to be starting the program or the proposed program for the coming commemoration of the death anniversary of Dr. Jose Rizal at the 30th, passing through the Christmas celebration, because everybody's waiting for that. But the main event of particularly the Nights of Rizal, the main celebration will be on the commemoration of the celebration assassination of Dr. Rizal, because that is the symbol of special holiday as being a Knights of Rizal, because only three major events that has to be celebrated without fail, that every Knights of Rizal in any region has to make a program together, or if not together because of the distances, especially this pandemic situation, they can synchronize it, schedule each other, consult one another. But everything has to be in the guidance of the regional commander. Let us see the offering of the wreath and the statue of Dr. Rizal, since we cannot go there all at the same time. It has to be scheduled, and the the chapter commander or the regional commander has to schedule these things, but not here in Montreal. Last Saturday, somebody made the offering already, and upon asking the regional commander, he does not know. So, what is this? Is this an organization of to each its own? Let's review that. Hopefully, this message will reach to the person concerns. So, let's not break the image of and objectives of the organization. If we want to stay in the organization, follow the rules and regulations. You want to make your own regulation, don't use the name of Knights of Rizal. That's my objective. That's not my objective, but that is the objective of Knights of Rizal. That is the regulation. So please, if you don't fully understand that, consult and confront your superiors. It is not comfortable in a situation, especially if you are the regional commander and uh, the the regulation is not well. The protocol has to be observed. That is always the requirement. If you are in the organization, respect and obey the rules and regulations. Don't make your own special one. This is just a reminder. I'm not giving you a sermon, but I am just reminding you, if you are in a part of the organization, please follow the rules of the organization. And back to our social event. So actually, since no, December 1st, actually since September, Christmas celebration has already started. So each and every one of us has its own way of celebrating Christmas, maybe by individual, by family, or a group. So that's how we do it, because there is no specific role that you have to start the carolings on the 19th or 16th of December. No, not exactly, because merrymakings already started on September 1st. So be it, especially commercials, because the merchants are taking advantage of this special season, because sales and customers are coming out, especially this season, to make sale, and profits is growing, because they have to take advantage of the situation. And why not? Had it not been for this Christmas, it could be a dull moment for the remaining of the year. So enjoy while these things last. So, and especially, I have to remind you that the pandemic has begun, and our people, our community in the Philippines, are in dire need of our support. So share what we can, and some organizations are doing well, making a fundraising, and some of them already transmitted, which is our nature, that we are have that bayanihan spirit wherever and whenever we are able to do our share. That is our one good quality as Filipinos. We always maintain the bayanan spirit when our people, when our community is in dire needs of our extension of our help. So be it. And for tonight, I will be expecting a special guest, a friend of us from day one, since my arrival here in Montreal in 1971. I have known this person, a very good friend of mine. Marvin Rotan will be coming soon, because we would like to deliver his Christmas message, and maybe some important things to be announced with who knows. So let's wait for a moment, and will expect him with a big applause because he is a true and true friend whenever we are. It doesn't matter how big or small the occasion. If you invite him, he will be there so long as he has the time and availability of the situation. So, in 2 minutes, if you have some question, maybe we will entertain that, and it would be good because this space is given to us by through the courtesy of Trusan and Radio Pinoy. So we have to thank them. Hi, good evening. Good evening, Sir Marvin.
Good evening,
Nice
Tata
to
Bert.
meet
How
you.
are you?
Oh, still, thank you. I'm still young and kicking, and I'm always walking without fail from here in my house and Isabela up to Banhorn, and if the weather permits, I have to go to Plaza Codenes and back. So far, that gives me good spirit,
All right. That's
and
important.
one thing before we go, because that makes me forget my maintenance, because before going to the Philippines, I have always my maintenance. But for the past 6 months of that being locked up there, I don't have any maintenance,
Okay.
and miraculously, I am feel better than having a maintenance. Is
Okay.
that a
Listen,
coincidence or
Bert,
because of
I know how difficult it is, how very difficult it is month after month after month. We have now been in this pandemic since they officially called it on, I think, March the 12th here. It's a long time since March. And even
yeah,
though the vaccine gives us some hope, it may be a while yet. And the hardest part, the absolute hardest part is people begin to forget to be careful. They know they have to, but it's so long and it's so hard that they, I won't say cheat a little bit, but they forget a little bit about what the health rules are and how really you have to be careful. And you never know. And we have an obligation. You know, I was at your big birthday party a few years ago. I remember it was a great party.
yeah,
And I got to tell
yeah.
you, you look younger now than you did back then. It's been about 5 or 6 years already. But
Maybe,
having
maybe,
said, you have
yeah.
to be careful at your age. And I want you to promise me, as a friend, not only as a community leader, but as a friend, I want you to promise me you're going to follow the rules as long as it takes until this vaccine is available and we get you safe.
Yeah, this vaccine, I have a question. Is this a cure or a prevention?
No, it's not a cure. It's something that will prevent you from getting sick. There right now
Yeah.
in Canada, like in most of the Western countries, two different vaccines have been approved. One is the Pfizer vaccine, which is supposedly 95% effective. Um, that is, it works 19 times out of 20. It requires 2 shots. You get your first one, you have to take the second one about 3 weeks later. If you do get sick, it reduces the severity of the symptoms. So it works. It's hard to store. Apparently, I'm not a medical expert, but what I've been able to read, it requires storage at very cold temperatures, something like minus 70 degrees Celsius. That's very, very cold. And I'm not sure how long it lasts, so there's shipping problems, and it's got to be distributed to all the locations that are going to be set up as vaccine centers, etc. That's been approved now in most countries like the United States, Canada, Great Britain, most of Europe for about 2 weeks now, and it's already rolled out. The other vaccine made by a much smaller American company called Moderna that I don't know much about, but apparently has a similar vaccine, has been approved in the United States and Britain for a few days, and I think it was only approved in Canada today. I'm told it's easier to handle and store, and it can be stored at minus 20 degrees, which is what most vaccines are stored at, or many vaccines are stored at. So it's easier to ship. I don't know when all this will be available to the public, and I don't know if other types of vaccines will be approved for use in the coming weeks, and whether they'll be the same type of vaccine or something completely different. I'm told that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is probably going to be approved soon, works differently, different storage, temperature, etc. So the vaccine will be there. The question is, how much will we get? When will we get it? And how is it going to be made available to the public? And who should get priority? And in Canada, it looks like seniors and healthcare workers who are frontline workers are the priority. And I think that's right. We want to get our most vulnerable people protected, and those who work in the most dangerous situation. They should have.
I think that's very good, because we citizens will just follow what the Canadian government will do, because they will not put anything on our body which is not approved and safe. But the question is, because some people asking, why do I have to get the vaccine when I'm not sick? How much will that cost me? So that's the question that I had to answer, which I don't know yet.
I don't think it's going to cost you anything, or very little. It's covered by Medicare. But however, if you're not sick, you shouldn't get the vaccine. Because you're not sick today doesn't mean you can't pick it up. And there's worrisome information. I mean, there's different mutations or strains of COVID that have been detected recently. The one in England is, I'm told, 70% more contagious than the original strain of coronavirus. Spreads very quickly. I'm not saying it's more lethal or the symptoms are more difficult, but however, apparently it spreads very, very easily. So you want to get a large percent of the population protected. And also, something we don't know, whether you can get it a second time. There is enough evidence that there have been cases of people who've been reinfected. So I don't know whether they're more vulnerable the second time or less vulnerable. But however, you want to make sure that people are protected. It's like getting a flu virus. You get a flu shot every year, even though you're not sick, because you don't want to get sick. It's the same thing with COVID.
Every time I have a trip, I had a flu.
That's right. And it's a good health practice, particularly for an more elderly population. And that's why we want people who could be most vulnerable to the symptoms of COVID, who might die, to have the protection of a vaccine. This is far worse than the flu. It's something that has a much higher death rate. And, we're still coping with something that is new to us, but this is a health crisis, and people have to cooperate not only by following the rules, but also being safe. There's no reason to say, well, I won't get it. Well, you never know. You may get it. You may not have it now. You may be protecting yourself, but it could spread quickly. You could get it accidentally, simply because someone who's asymptomatic might come in contact with you. That is a person who might be ill, but however displays no symptoms. There are people like this who get COVID, who seem to be fine, yet they are spreading the disease as well. Some research seems to suggest that even keeping 6 feet distance, 2 meters from someone else, may not protect you, that it is airborne, the germs, and that you may get it at a farther distance. So it's better not to take a risk. If the vaccine will keep you safe, why not get it?
Yeah, because I have to clear this to some people I have met. So that's the answer I have to get them. Because people are asking, why should I get this? I'm not sick. How much should I pay? That's the very basic question. But now it's very clear. I will relay the message. Thank you, sir.
All right, good. And tell them they have an obligation to their families as well. If they get sick, someone in the family could get sick, and someone who could be even more vulnerable than they. All right. So
thank you.
Loved ones and your friends and your community get the vaccine.
So I'm trying in this media that time and again reminding that it is not forced to you, but it is an obligation to yourself and to the community. Because if you will not take care of yourself, somebody will take care of you because you will be spreading the disease.
Exactly. And, there's still a lot of cases out there. Today was another record day in Quebec, almost 2,300 cases, over 800 new cases here in Montreal. I mean, we've had almost, I think, something like 7,700 deaths in Quebec, and something like almost 3,700 of those are in Montreal. That's a lot of people dying. And, we want to, I mean, we're beyond flattening the curve. We got to make sure we protect people. It's not enough just to stay home and isolate and to take precautions and to wear a mask. I mean, there are people who are still not even doing that, who put everybody at risk by not wearing a mask. It's the law. I mean, when you go into a store, you must wear a mask when you're in public transit. And it's right for the government to have legislative fines for people who put others at risk because they somehow think they're invulnerable, or they don't believe in a pandemic that has killed millions of people around the world.
Well, I will help them through this media aware that it is an obligation to protect yourself and everybody, because like in the Philippines, it's really strict there, but not so much here. It's very relaxed. Sometimes when I riding on the bus, I'm not even wearing a mask. But so it's up for you to keep distance, because you cannot tell people why you are not doing this, because it's not your duty. But you have to protect yourself, so keep distance. I'll say.
Absolutely, Bert. And let me tell you something else. A lot of caregivers in this city are Filipino. These people are putting their lives on the line for all of us, all right? They work in hospitals, they work in CHSLDs, they work in all sorts of circumstances, some of them in difficult situations, and some of them have died. We've read in the papers about persons who contracted COVID at work from patients that they were taking care of. We've got to make sure that these people get priority treatment so that they are safe, that they know when they go to work they're protected, that they've been vaccinated, and that it gives them reassurance. I mean, for a lot of these people, they are working under a great deal of stress, and they have families to take care of as well. They go home after work, all right? And
the first victim of Filipino nurse was my townmate.
that's it, exactly.
So that's it. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So
Well,
what happens?
We have Christmas coming up. We're in the middle of holidays, New Year's coming up. All I want people to do is stay as safe as you can and wait for that vaccine to be available to you. Might be sooner rather than later. Not everybody will get it right away because it's in limited quantities, and there's a certain amount available for Canada, but everybody else wants it. And one thing is, rich countries shouldn't have a monopoly on the vaccine. It should be available everywhere, and that includes the developing world, and that includes in Asia, and that includes the Philippines as well. So we've got to make sure there's equitable distribution, and that people worldwide are able to get the vaccine. But I'm asking people, look, don't take risks. It'll be better in 2021, and I look forward to 2021. I said at the beginning of this interview, it's tough following all these rules month after month after month. I mean, this year, Bert, I hardly saw you. Well, I mean, I don't remember actually the last time I saw you. It might have been actually in 2019. Could that be? Or maybe it was in January. I don't remember when I saw you. But one thing for sure, we had to cancel a lot of events this year. We didn't have Filipino Heritage Month, did we? We didn't have the birth anniversary of Dr. Jose Rizal. It's a huge event every year in our borough. We didn't have Independence Day. That's a big event. We didn't have Pista Sanayan this year. There was no flag raising for the public, at least at FAMAS. All the type of events that we usually have, the Philippine Scholarship and Benevolent Association, they usually do a thing in September. They didn't do their thing either.
We have prepared the flower
usually have something.
This December 30th. So, but we say to it that not everybody one time. It will be alternating group by group, because
and it's going to be a small thing. and we're not going to have a big crowd. And if people are going to stay far apart. It's going to be a wreath laying. It's not going to be the type of ceremony as in the past. You have to remember, Knights of Rizal in the past always had a big event on the anniversary of the martyrdom of Dr. Jose Rizal. A lot of people there, a reenactment, and the whole thing. It won't be like that this year.
No, not this year. We maybe could be. Well, I'm planning for an online celebration. Like the messages will be delivered online. So
Exactly.
like your message, I will be accepting
for next year.
to deliver.
You know what next year is? It's the 160th anniversary of the birth of Dr. Jose Rizal. Any anniversary that was a 0 or a 5 is a bigger anniversary every year. So let's do something special to make up for 2020. We'll do something really big in 2021. I mean, you were there in June of 2019. You remember that? We had the inauguration of Place Jose Rizal at the monument in Mackenzie King Park. I'm very proud that we were able to do that. I worked with the Filipino community. A petition was started. Almost 1,500 names on the petition to name the area around the monument for Dr. Jose Rizal. It was tabled in City Council, and the name was granted, after which the borough beautified around the monument and installed an electric supply so there could be events and lighting up of the monument, and a plaque was unveiled on the day we did the ceremony. I think there were 600 people there, 600 people for that special event. The Philippines Embassy in Ottawa sent a delegation down because it was of national importance to them. I was proud that we were everywhere in the media, not only in the Filipino media here in Quebec. We had the Forum and the Star were there, but so was CPRM and with television locally. But we also were on television in the Philippines. People saw us in Manila as we unveiled the plaque.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
So pretty proud achievement. Very happy with that. And what was best about that was that all the chapters of the Knights of Rizal worked together in a productive way. They were all present, and they worked with the Philippine Heritage Committee as well. Al Abdon did some very, very good work for that particular day, and it was good in the sense that it attracted the broader general public, because people who are not Filipino came because they'd heard about it. They wanted to learn what was going on, and we were also on television. For stations, I think like Global TV carried us. I believe CTV carried us as well. So we got a lot of coverage about Dr. Rizal and what he stood for and why he's important and considered a national hero in the Philippines. And a lot of Montrealers discovered there's a pretty big Filipino community in our city. I mean, didn't know too much about it beforehand, but that event really, really went a long way. So hopefully next June, we can do something like that for the 160th anniversary. And hopefully next June, all things being equal and the health regulations allowing to do it, we can have a parade again for Philippines Independence Day like we've had every year for the last 20 years, except for this year. And that's a great picture he's put on the screen. I see our member of parliament, Anthony Outfather, is there. And, various people are there. There you are. That shows us. There's Bill Steinberg, the mayor of Hampstead, who was there. Bill, myself, and Anthony. It was a great event. I think we can all be very, very proud of that. That's really, really a great event.
Marvin, since I really started this, and I'm proud that with the cooperation of City Hall. Remember when this President Ramos came?
Yes, I do. Absolutely.
That's the start of it, and we asked for a marker, and it was granted. But President Ramos automatically changed the marker to the statue, which I'm very glad. And since we have that bus, I'm very satisfied and happy about. But I would not stop at that, because, like in Toronto, they have a life-size statue of Rizal. In Winnipeg, they have a life-size result. So maybe I will be searching how we could obtain that, where to ask, where to apply, because dreaming will not stop me. Materialize or not, but I have that dream again.
Well, Bert, this is something that could be discussed. Look, we need some ideas for Philippine Heritage Month. You
Yes.
know, it's in
Yeah, we have to work together as a community now.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something. Let's go back to February 2018. You might recall the Borough Council voted a resolution. I moved it, and Lionel Perez seconded it. The motion was to declare every June as Filipino Heritage Month in Cotonej, NDG, because our borough is the epicenter of the Filipino community in Quebec.
I
16,000.
met Salma, the author.
Now, when we did that, that started something. The government of Canada picked up on the idea, and as you know, there's now a law was adopted, a resolution in Parliament, in which Anthony Housefather is one of the seconders for that motion, that created Filipino Heritage Month in Canada. Now, I am proud of the fact that we aren't the biggest Filipino community in Canada. There are much bigger Filipino communities in Toronto and Vancouver, in Winnipeg, in Edmonton, and even Calgary than there is in Montreal. But no community celebrates Filipino Heritage Month better than we do in Montreal. It is
through your help.
Well,
because you're working and make us work.
I'm only going to take a very little bit of the credit. Thank you. I feel proud for you to say that. But however, there are a lot of volunteers. They're the ones who get
yes, of course, with cooperation. Why we will stay back when you are there in front of us working to do the job well? Why we cannot just watch and see what you are doing? So we have to cooperate because we have a good leadership. Everybody follows.
Well, we're going to show up. We're going to show up the others, and that brings me to the new ambassador. I'm going to have to ring off in a few minutes because I have another obligation. But as you know, Ambassador Garcia has moved on to. She's in New York right now, and she's doing good work for the government of the Philippines over there. And Ambassador Robles has finally arrived in Canada. Because of COVID, he's only 3 months late, but he did get here, and he's been in office now officially for about 2 weeks. We did send him a note. I welcomed him to Canada, and we sent our official greetings, and hoping to have a call with him in January. And we want to make sure that he comes to Montreal once events are moving again. And I want him to know that as much as we're proud of Filipinos who live in all of those other cities we mentioned, like Toronto and Vancouver, that in Montreal, when we celebrate Heritage Month, it is very meaningful and special. I told the ambassador that we have a choral ensemble in Montreal called Panday Tineg that is probably one of the best choral ensembles in all of Canada. And they're going to be doing something at the end of Filipino Heritage Month. They've got planned a little surprise for everybody. And I wanted him to know as well about the events that are hosted with Filipino cuisine and the Independence Day and the events at the monument. And I want him to come and meet the community and meet the local elected officials. As you know, we have a declaration of friendship between Manila and Montreal. And that happened in 2004 and 2005. And as your viewers are probably aware, I've been to Manila several times and have been greeted at City Hall a couple of times. Once by Joseph Estrada when he was mayor, the other time by Isko Moreno when he was vice mayor. He's now the mayor of Manila. And I'm going to ring off by telling you one thing. When I met with Joseph Estrada, I sent him a note through the embassy, first of all, to say that I didn't want a big ceremony when I came to City Hall. I wanted modest. So I arrive at Manila City Hall, and he has like a band, 100-piece band to play music. I said, this is amazing. And 100 police officers in uniforms. And I go to his office. He brings 200 staff. The whole City Hall, they stop. And I tell them, this is not modest. And he said, this is modest.
Because
right? That was his idea.
Manila,
modest. But I'm going to
in Manila,
by telling you what.
Is highly respected because that give us honor that any highly respected dignitaries arrive in Manila, we really give me high honor all the time, the best we can. So
Well,
we are very
I had a good
hospitable.
time. Well, I'm going to
That's
let your viewers know one thing. Do you know what Joseph Estrada told me he was most proud of? Remember, he used to be president of the Philippines. I had a kind of a rocky time there at the end, but we won't go there, all right? But you know what he told me he was the most proud of in his whole career?
yeah.
It was winning the Academy Award as Best Actor in the Philippines. He was very proud of that. The political stuff, he said, is hard work, and he enjoyed it, but he really liked the prestige that came with being the best actor, because he really felt it added something to Filipino culture. But let me, before I go, wish all your viewers the very, very best for Christmas and for New Year's. And I really hope that those watching today, I'll be able to see you in person. Bert, I'll be talking to you in the next days. We have a couple of things we need to discuss on, business going forward and events for next year. You're a respected community leader. Thank you for doing this program. A lot of people have learned about it, and I understand you can put a like on it, and you can subscribe to it and share it, and I invite people to do that. So you have a very good day, Bert. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Merry Christmas, Alben.
Christmas.
So extend the greetings to your wife and families. Well, we had a good talk with Marvin, and everybody was very amused. Like Esperanza Valentris, she was asking why only Marvin seems to be only political leaders who, with the Filipino community since the first time, arrived here in Montreal. Yeah, you should be staying longer and mingle once in a while with the communities, especially in our gatherings. Not only Marvin Otran, some other councilors are always there, especially when election is coming. Even the Prime Minister was present in our midst in our Independence Party. So many congressmen is also present. I could name names, but you have to be joining the community and participate in enjoying the camaraderie of Filipino. That's how you will enjoy our community, because watching alone at the corner and the side and see only the shortcomings, that is not participation. So please, actively participate and make a comments, make a suggestions, because that's how we improve ourselves being a community member. I welcome you all the time, so make comments and participate, make a correction, because how do I know what has to be improved if you not say something? So everybody, okay, I could have Juco Serda, Escolinatok, Andre Luke, Esperanza Venture, and so on, like Gina Saito. So please make comments, because that makes you alive, because your name appearing is maybe will make a little consideration to me talking to nobody, but you are there watching me. I could also thank you for that, because without you, I'll be talking to nobody. But you are an avid listeners. I admire your patience, but still I need your comments, your like and dislike. Share your ideas. So how time flies, but the very reason of this talk show is to communicate. Let's exchange ideas. What has to be done in our community? What has to be improved? But the basic thing that they are doing immediately upon disaster or any calamities happening in the Philippines, our community leaders are quick in response to whatever they could hold on to in order to alleviate the consequences that happens in the Philippines. Of course, we are not millionaires, but actually, the mere fact that extending help, because most of us have families there, we immediately send monetary. That is the very, very basic that we could do, and make a little consolation and make a ends meet, because that is a part of us being here to support the family back home. It is a good idea of being a Filipino. That is our quality. So let's maintain that. And of course, prayers will help a lot. Staying strong and healthy is our basic for survival. So, especially this Christmas, a little gift or a comforting words suffice the heartaches that they would not see what is missing on their table, because it's not a laden of food that makes you happy. It's the thought that you are together exchanging pleasantries and laughter. When I was young, I never saw there something missing in my life, because I'm happy and contented that what I have. Of course, I will envy being a child what others have, but mother told me that what we have is what God has given to us. If God no want us to have something else, we have to work for it, because God will not just give you just waiting. You have to work for it, what you could have. So, honestly and diligently, with the guidance of the Spirit and the Holy Ghost, you will be happy. Not materially, but of course spiritually. That is the basic food of your soul and body. So, enjoy yourself. That is the, because laughter, as what they say, is always a good medicine. Food is just a supplemental, but healthy mind comes with healthy body. So enjoy yourself. Oh, this is what I like, talking and talking. My throat is like this is run dry.
As the bass,
Okay, I would like to remind our audience that
as the bass.
supporters also.
With
Yes,
DJ.
okay, why not you play one more Christmas song so I could have a breather? Okay, that's a good one. But I will tell you, I would prefer the Tagalog song, Christmas Tagalog song. But since that's what you have, so I have to content myself what you have. So maybe next time, because we still have 2 days more for the Christmas, the real Christmas day, on the 20th of December. So let's drink to that and be happy and merry. That's the joyous moment that Jesus Christ brought us together. That in commemoration and celebration of the coming of the Lord is to prepare ourselves for a new life, to understand and be charitable to each and every one of us, exchanging pleasantries, smile after smile, walking down the street with the merry makings and the glittering lights. That's what we have in Christmas. Because you don't need to be a millionaire to be happy, because you are more happier than everybody who has money, because you are free. You are go anywhere. You could eat what you want, especially the non-toxic food. You always eating a fresh fruit and vegetable is very helpful. Don't envy people who drink too much, drowning themselves with alcohol. You know the result. I don't have to tell you, because it's a very basic. Anything foreign in your body is not healthy for your vein and blood. So, be eating natural and eating, but maintaining a peaceful mind. Healthy mind who doesn't have hatred. All you have to have only is love and appreciation of the beauty of things around you, and especially nature. So, so what's that music that will be around? Okay, I still have 10 minutes. But I was asking for a classical music, but since you don't have, so I have to keep noise here. One more thing, I was expecting from Dick the Hero, because they said there might be changes in farmers, and I'm looking forward to further details about it, because what I have is sufficient for me to announce whatever it is, because what they are preparing, I don't know, or they'll just keep preparing. Anyways, the decision was made, so no wish, no expectation, no changes expected to change, because it has very be guided by the judge that it has to be changed, it has to be new. So maybe that's enough. They don't have to apply it so long as they know the result. Because if they are really wanting to do this, they will easily accept and take over what is supposed to be their duties, but nobody is moving because they are waiting for New Year. Because that is how they operate. You cannot tell them that is their duty immediately after oath. You have to perform your duty, but for them, they'll relax, take their time. They could always say, "I'm not paid yet." That is the attitude. Yeah, speaking of the Knights of Rizal, which is supposed to be the Montreal, uh, the Eastern Canada has this is 5 chapters, and so far since the creation of these five chapters, maybe I was not here for the past 6 months. Have they ever hold a group meeting? Have they made a guidelines and activities lined up, or have they made any committees for what is who and who is what? That is my question. Because, okay, they could always say, "Shut up, Bert, you are not here, you don't know what's happening." Fine. But for me, I think I'm a part of the community. At least publish the to the community center or wherever is available, that each member has to be notified the forthcoming and the past activities that they have. Yes, as a member, I have to ask this. Otherwise, what's the use of member if you don't care and you don't want to know? So I hope somebody would answer me sooner than before the end of the 2021. They have their time, so take it easy. the commemoration of the death anniversary of Dr. Rizal is one of the three major celebration of the Knights of Rizal organization. One is the birth of Dr. Rizal on June 19. The second, the Philippine independence has to be celebrated together with the rest of the chapter in the region. Not to celebrate that anywhere in your backyard. Each chapter has to celebrate its own. I hope this has to be implanted to the chapter or the regional commander that they have to work together for the sake of this major celebration. After that, they could go drinking spree again and again because that's the easiest way to get together. I'm even suggesting why during your drinking spree, why just make informative jokes like say, how many girlfriend does Dr. Rizal? What is the first poem of Dr. Rizal? And in fact, I even make a joke. I ask this question: what province is located the name the town Bagumbayan? Maybe some of you knows, but not everybody. So maybe I know something, but you know something also, which I don't know. Why couldn't we not just share together? Even just a joke, but that will develop our minds and concentrating about Dr. Rizal. We don't have to stick always to for our celebration, for the money making, for the drinking spree. Who will be the guest speaker? What should buy my uniform? Especially the newcomers. They are so engrossed about promotions because the medals on your shoulder does not make you as Knights of Rizal. It is in your heart, your achievement that could call for you. You don't have to be recognized because you yourself, if you recognize yourself, let others forget you, but you yourself will not forget yourself because you yourself would know to you that you deserve better than what others would think you. It is not the medal that makes you a Knights of Rizal. Your heart and performance and achievements. The record will always show achievements. You cannot fake achievements, but before, hopefully, the headquarters has to double check if there's any recommendation for promotion. They have to double check that because just because the chapter commanders have the signature, will you just blindly follow it? Let's preserve the dignity of the organization. And so, we have to thank tonight that at least Councillor Marvin Rotran, I have known him since 1972. I was in Dicari and time and again, early morning, he will just knock on my door and ask for coffee because he has his walk, he has his jogging from Dicari up to Snowdon and back and forth. And when he get tired, come up and because I was living in Bannon, Dicari, so he just come up my apartment, have a chat and say goodbye and move out. So that's how personally we know each other. So even then, time and again, he could drop by anytime he wants, which he is always welcome. So that's how we share each other. That's how supposed to be the community. You don't have to have a grand entrance to be seeing one another. Like for example, okay, I have 2 minutes. I like this for example. This COVID, as I read, for the first time in my life, here after staying here more than 60 years, that I received a hot mail from an organization of the seniors, not from the Filipino organization, but from the Jewish organization. I really appreciate that because though I'm not a Jewish, but I am part of their community and they remembered me. Thank God, community is getting wider and expansion is being done to each and every one of us. Let's thanking each other, exchange pleasantries, and because I also spread the news that President Quezon has done his part in saving them from the annihilation of the Stalin communism to wipe out the Jews dynasty, but Quezon saved 1,200 of them floating in the ocean for months, but it was welcomed by President Quezon in the Philippines to be as a refugee of the war at that time. Which is a part of the history that we are being noted for, and it was acknowledged, and we are always friendly to the Jewish now. So, because the record came out too slow and late, but at least it's there now. It's being understood, so everybody is grateful. The Jews are grateful, so we are also be grateful because we will come in the community in the country. Filipinos don't need to have a visa in going to Israel. That is good. So, good night, everybody. I have a good time. I have pleasant days today because Marvin was here again, and expecting you next week, or maybe if there is no other specials, I have to fill in. So, but I'm here just to express myself and thank God that I am alive and strong. If anything I could contribute, I have to do so. Thank you. Magandang gabi. Mabuhay tayong lahat. Tayo Pilipino, magkaisa, magsama-sama, at magbigayan, magmahalan. Isang komunidad tayo. Maraming salamat and good night and good evening and good morning. Mabuhay Pilipinas!
Sa Pasko darating, nais ko'y ikaw pa rin ang aking kapiling, at sa mga araw pang darating, walang ibang hinihiling. Pangarap ko'y ikaw pa rin. Kung ito'y panaginip, ay ayaw ko nang magising. Pag-ibig ko iyo, kahit na hindi Pasko, ang buhay ko ito ay laging laan sa'yo. Sana'y huwag magbabago ang matamis mong pagtingin, kahit na hindi Pasko. Giliw ako'y lagi mong mahalin. Pag-ibig ko'y iyo, kahit na hindi Pasko. Ang buhay ko ito ay laging laan sa'yo. Sa Paskong darating, nais ko ikaw pa rin ang aking kapiling, at sa mga araw pang darating. Pag-ibig ko iyo, kahit na hindi Pasko. Ang buhay ko ito ay laging laan sa'yo.